What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to I Do It Myself. I'm Wayno. How y'all feeling today? If you like what it is that we do over here, you know what you got to do, right? Hit that sub button, hit them likes, and run up that hype. And stay in tune for the merch because we're extremely close to dropping. But today we're talking about Drake. And I know that sometimes, or let me not say sometimes, because I'm not a person that tries to like bash or kick down on everything that Drake does. There's tons of things that he's done that I don't like or I don't agree with, but he still is a artist, right? And he's still an artist that I've been listening to for about 15 years now. And we've had tons of debates about him, tons of conversations about him, tons of like back and forths, all of that shit regarding him, his music or actions outside of music. But he has achieved something. And what he's achieved is having 15 diamond singles. Now let's go through them. God's Plan, One Dance, Hotline Bling, Hold On, We Going Home, Best I Ever Had, Sicko Mode, which he's featured on, Life is Good, which he's featured on, Work, Love Me, No Guidance with Chris Brown, right? Features. But Nice for What, The Motto, Headlines, Passion Fruit, Non-Stop. Also, his best album from to me, Take Care, is also Diamond. Now, when I was growing up, right, the first time I ever heard Diamond or people speak about Diamond, it was like Thriller. It's like, yo, Michael Jackson sold 10 million records, and nobody could believe it. It was like, for somebody to sell 10 million items, you couldn't even fathom the number. 1 million, let alone 10. When I grew up in the era of, you know, the McDonald's Monopoly game where everybody wanted to win $1 million, like the word 1 million was like almost like a marketing tool that made you feel like your life would be all right if you reached that plateau. Now, the second time or times I was hearing about it was when Biggie had gone diamond with Life After Death. Now, the thing about Life After Death is double CDs used to sell as double CDs. So if you sold one, you really sold two. So if you sold 5 million, you sold 10 million. And Biggie did that, of course. His album came out after he passed. You know what I mean? Right when he passed, right before his album came out. And I wanted to, so now let's get back to Drake. Drake has achieved, you know what I mean? The shit that he's achieved, I think it's a weird space for us as fans and even him as an artist because nobody's ever did no shit like this before. And this is the quietest I've seen people regarding Drake. Like, I don't see nobody talking about some, yo, that's fire. Now, Drake's birthday just passed. He just turned 39 years old. He is held in the space of nigga grow up. Stop wearing barrettes. Stop doing shit that we don't agree with. You a grown-ass man. Act like one. All of that, right? And whatever your pick of the day is why you got to gripe for him. That's your opinion to have. I'm not even trying to combat that or convince you to think like me and none of that. My only thing that I feel is for him to achieve such a great feat and to not get no recognition for it, and I mean socially, because I got this off of social media, you feel me? It's confirmed by the IRAA, but to see nobody really talk about it, it shows how much people's feelings are personally into, you know, the artist now that we talking about achievements. I feel like this shit is kind of like when KD won the 2 rings with Golden State. As a KD fan, KD my homie too. Yeah, we was all pissed off when KD went to Golden State as basketball fans because we like, bro, these niggas just, y'all had a 3-1 lead. They beat Charlotte in a 3-1 lead for the first time. And then the Cavs, they had a 3-1 lead on the Cavs, and the Cavs beat them. And then you went to that team, and they was 73-9, so everybody had their gripes. I make that equivalent to the streaming era, right? The streaming era, because Drake also didn't come out in the streaming era. He came out when you had to sell physical copies. Don't get it twisted. People thank me later, Take Care, those were CDs. Now, you could download them on Apple Music at the time back in 2011 and all of that, but it wasn't as strong as it is today. So I always wonder, right? Like, if I listen to an album, as much as I think, how much does it make an equivalent sale? Like 1,250 listens or 1,500 listens? Between those two, let's say it's 1,250 for, I think it's 1,250 for a single, 1,500 for an album. My favorite albums of my life, like every one of my favorite albums, everything from Mobb Deep's to Infamous, Clips, Lord Willin', Drake, Take Care, Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City, Only Built for Cuban Links, YG, My Crazy Life, All Eyes on Me, Tupac, Soul Food, Goody Mob. I could go on for days. I don't think I've listened to any of those albums 1,250 or 1,500 times in my lifetime. So it makes you bring up the question of, the morality in the business model, but there is no morality in business, right? Like, business is about the bottom line and getting across the bottom line and getting across the finish line. We need to get this motherfucking money, no matter what, by any means. Now, even when I bring up the records, there's this revisionist history, and I'm gonna keep it 100, right? I'm a Kendrick Lamar fan. What I mean by that is that I've always supported everything that he's done, right? Same as Drake to an extent. I'm not delusional about either one of them. I remember years ago when this whole shit was happening, it was a clip of me saying, man, I can't defend Kendrick Lamar when it comes to this battling shit, because he ain't had no battle. And this is 3 years prior to the actual battle. I'm like, man, he's not battle tested. You know what I'm saying? Now, we might have seen the clips of him battling in the street, but at that time, he never had a spat with somebody in the industry. So I'm like, man, whatever. We gonna see when we gonna see. So I'm not delusional about any artist that I fuck with or like, right? I'm not. So I said all that to say, when you go down the list of these songs, even if you're a person that's Kendrick Lamar purist, some of y'all think Drake is the devil and all this other shit, you can't deny that these is good records, hit records. This revisionist shit where people go back and say, nah, that's not that good. And I said the same thing about Wayne, right? It's like, people say, oh, Wayne's lyrics ain't aged that well. Are we judging everybody off of every single thing they've ever said in their entire career? Because I feel like everybody that has hits have misses. I don't mean hits in the sense of Billboard. I mean hits as in what landed. Songs that might be good to you today, you go back and listen and be like, oh, nah, they was wildin'. Songs that you might love and all of that, you go back and say, damn, I don't even understand why I like this song at that time, because listening to it today doesn't feel the same. But that doesn't mean that at that time it didn't mean nothing. Like, this is the conversation that we have about Michael Jordan, right? They'll show Michael Jordan do a crazy ass air reverse, and then they'll show somebody like Cooper Flag doing the same exact shit. Or I'll give you one better. They show Bradley Beal doing moves that Michael Jordan never did, and then they say, man, Michael Jordan didn't have this type of handle, or even Allen Iverson, he ain't had. But guess what? At that time, what we had is what we had. So I think it's fucked up to go back and then change things to say, oh, that this wouldn't be that, or that wouldn't be this. Because I feel like they're going to start doing that shit with LeBron. I feel like people is going to start going back and saying, well, Bron ain't never get 9 blocks in the game like Wembanyama and hit a three with one hand stepping back off 1 foot, and then say, well, Bron ain't that, but he's this. People try to change things. But let's get back to the whole conversation around Drake. I think we all can agree. We all can agree on some sort of level, because I've seen people who are diehard Drake fans say, I hate that he did the lawsuit. Some people say round 2. You know what I mean? Some people say all types of shit. But I think we all could agree that we didn't agree with that. And it was, to me, an atrocious act in hip hop. It was, given the circumstances of the battle, right? But I think that for him to have sold 10 million records on all of these, because that's what, 15 diamond achievements. And yes, the streaming era does change things, because a person could just leave on play all day. They could leave on play and repeat all day. And there's also been rumors of the streaming farms. We've seen that on Black Market, you know what I mean? All types of shit. So some people could feel like they've cheated the game. There's people who have diamond records like Gunna and Little Baby's Drip Too Hard. That's a diamond record. There's records that's close to being diamond, like Cardi B's WAP. But, it's a lot of records that have reached a certain space of feet because of the streaming era. Like, think about if Tupac got credited every time his record got played in a car or in a club. Or if DMX, right? If these rules applied to DMX in the streaming era, where DMX first album was already, I think, double platinum, and then he put out his second album in 1 year and sold 387,000 records the first week, physical copies, without a first single or video. Yes, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood did that. Or even 50 Cent. 50 Cent he'd probably sell 30 million today in today's era based on, you know, the streaming things. But at the same time, some of these records came out at, you know, in moments or eras where, well, let's just keep it 100. Hotline Bling, streaming was a thing back then. Guys playing, those on the same albums. Work, same album. No Guidance, that's it. You know, the motto, you know what I mean? Headlines, a record like Headlines, right? A record like Headlines, regardless to the diamond asterisk of it dead being there, it's still, you know what I mean, an impactful record. And I think that, like, you know, even with not liking Drake and not fucking with Drake based on, you know, his personal ways, or you know what I mean, like the battle or whatever, we cannot deny that a lot of these records define eras. You know what I mean? A lot of these records was damn near song of the year. If it wasn't song of the year, or you remember exactly what you was doing or where you was at or who you was with when these songs came out. And I think that because of the pick the side era, because of that's where we at, you know what I mean, in hip hop in its totality, the shit is kind of is messed up. It's messed up. Listen, me and Drake have spoken one time. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say how we spoken. I have my differences with him. I know that he's had his differences with me. But I still think it's corny to not acknowledge the fact that this nigga's done some shit that we never seen before, regardless to the era. You know, I spoke about Braun and I spoke about Wembenyama. You know, what Braun has done in his career, even though he's lost 6 times and Mike has won 6 every time he went. That's a whole nother conversation. But what I see for Wembenyama, you know, let's say hypothetically he gets 2 or 3, maybe even 4 rings, but he doesn't lose, you know what I'm saying, and he averages a damn near triple-double but with blocks. Does that make him better than the predecessor? That's subjective, right? But I believe that you still keep him in that conversation of the best ever if we get a chance to see something happen that's never happened before. This is how I do it myself. I mean, I know some of y'all might be conflicted on some of the things I said. Y'all might not agree with me. Y'all might say that the OVO wire hit my account. It hasn't and never will. But I would like to really know what y'all think, right? Should Drake, with everything that he's going through, for all the scrutiny, as much people don't fuck with him or his antics or whatever, you think his music is different, you don't like him acting like a gangster, you don't like him talking like a mob boss, none of that shit, does he deserve some sort of level of praise for what he's achieved? Or do y'all think it was all contrived anyway? Y'all let me know how y'all feel. For the ones that rock with me, you know how we doing. For the ones that don't, eventually you will. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.